Do we actually believe the stories of the Bible?
He parted the Red Sea, or that was great, they marched around the walls of Jericho, or they wandered in the desert. But we don't do that today.
There's a big difference between believing the stories and respecting the stories. Build a boat when there's no rain.
Yeah.
Preach righteousness in a corrupt culture, and faith meant long obedience with zero applause. Could we all obey God for decades without visible results?
Welcome back to another episode of Crazy Unbelievable Faith. I'm your co-host Brian Owen, alongside my wife Kersha.
Hi.
Welcome to you all. For those that have not actively been following us before, please follow and subscribe and like. That's how our community continues to grow. If you find something that is a benefit in this episode, please share it with people. Again, just another way for our community to grow. And we hope that today is impactful for you. We kind of have, is it a two-part series on this one?
Two-part series.
We like these multiple part things that she's been kind of cooking up lately. But this is a good one, though, around biblical heroes. So I'll let you take the title of this one.
Is going to be about modern heroes.
There you go.
Wait.
So yeah.
So the biblical heroes of faith are going to be biblical stories that stretch our belief system.
Yeah. I was when I was reading through the notes that we had talked about prior to coming on today, it was interesting because there's a lot of questions in the Bible that people have of, great, well, that was back then, that's not applicable to today, which kind of leads into today. So I'll let you kick us off and get us rolling.
So today's big idea is faith isn't admiration, it's action in the face of the impossible.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
So one thing that I think we all, and Brian, you kind of hinted on this, but one thing that I think that we all come across, and I would say even pastors, even people in ministry that have been there for decades, probably have these same thoughts. Do we actually believe the stories of the Bible?
Yeah. And I think a lot of that goes back to, like I was saying in the beginning, it's, well, that was great, he parted the Red Sea, or that was great, they marched around the walls of Jericho, or they wandered in the desert. But we don't do that today. Well, we do. We just don't realize it.
Well, and I think that there's a difference when we say, do we believe these? Are you comfortable?
Well, I'm good now, finally. What's happening here? Must be all this extra hair on my head that's weighing me down. I don't know. I need a haircut pretty bad. For those that are watching, hopefully you are watching, you'd be like, holy cow, that guy's got a lot of hair.
Man, we should plug and play the picture of you in ponytails last night.
Yeah, let's avoid that one. It's fine. We'll let that one be.
Why not?
That one lives on a phone somewhere. It's fine.
Your daughter's phone. Okay. I think that there's a big difference between believing the stories and respecting the stories.
Okay.
And I think that oftentimes we respect the story, we confuse those two. We respect the stories of faith, okay, of the Bible. And if you look at Hebrews 11, I'm just going to run through just the big ones. By faith, we understand that the universe was formed at God's command, so that when it is seen, so that what is seen was not made out of what was visible, okay? Hebrews 11, verse 4, by faith, Abel. Hebrews 11, 5, by faith, Enoch. By faith, Noah. By faith, Abraham. And it continues to go on down the list of how all of these people of the Bible have faith.
You're really struggling with my Bible today.
No, I really
am. Pages separated. I don't know what's happening here. There, you said at the very beginning of Hebrew, it's the seeing and unseen. Read back. It was the first part of Hebrews. It was the.
By faith, we understand that the universe was formed at God's command, so that what is seen was not made out of what was visible.
So what is seen versus what is visible, right?
Well,
am I understanding that correctly?
When God formed it, it was not visible.
Okay.
So what we see today was invisible at one point, and it was created at God's command.
Okay.
So if you go through this, you just have by faith Sarah,
Mhm.
by faith Abel, Enoch,
Yeah. Noah, you listed all of the others. So
Jacob, Isaac, Joseph,
so
Moses.
so they all stepped out on faith with the unseen, because we know that faith is the hope of things wished for, the things not seen. Okay.
So we walk by faith, not by sight.
Correct. But so if we're looking at faith in that lens, what, like, to our community, what is God, what are you hearing? What's the little nudge that keeps coming back into your mind that maybe you're not stepping out of the boat? Like, I heard that this past weekend, or this past week, at a conference, was just at that event. It was one of the guys talking about, is Jesus asking you to step out of that boat, being Peter? And would you take that step? Would you trust him to step out of that boat?
To walk on the water.
Would you take that faith step? And that's a question to the community, because
I would take that faith step over the Abraham and Isaac.
okay.
I would not be able to do that.
But what if you were like,
No.
what if you had to make that choice?
Nope, couldn't do it.
Mm.
I would sacrifice myself.
Okay. Well, all right. That's not really following with the story, but that's okay. What else is on this? Because this is, yeah, I mean, yes, Hebrews 11 we can unpack. There's several components to that, but you had several other nuggets I wanted to get to in this episode.
Faith is confidence for what is hoped for.
Yes.
Okay.
It's kind of covered before.
Without faith, it is impossible to please God.
Okay. So if faith, if without faith you're unpleasing, so basically it's the disobedience aspect that you've talked about in the past. Like, your lack of obedience is still disobedience, or your delay in obedience is still disobedience, right?
That one.
Yeah, the second one of that. But
You'll get there.
I think it's one of those components that, again, we're all asked to do things, but do we follow through on them?
Yes. But I think too, when we're reading the Bible, we think of this as these are children's stories in a Bible. Okay.
You mean the felt boards?
Sure.
Oh, come on now. We were at a church not too long ago.
These are belief stretching, logic breaking, obedience demanding moments.
So this isn't the Sunday school felt board we make everybody feel all happy and clappy. Like, this is, what was it? Jared talked about going to take it to the fire.
Yeah.
Like, these are fire moments. You know, the Abraham moments, the Moses moments, the Noah moments. Like, I mean, I'm thinking about Noah and the ark. Like, there's nothing even out there. It's been dry. It's been desolate. Why would you even think about building a boat because there's going to be a flood?
I'm really glad that you brought up Noah, because Noah is one of our main characters in today's episode.
I might have read some of the notes, just so we're clear, but that's fine. Go ahead.
Okay.
This is a rarity for me, so prepare yourself.
Obedience without evidence. Okay. In Genesis 6-9, build a boat when there's no rain.
Yeah.
Preached righteousness in a corrupt culture, and faith meant long obedience with zero applause. Okay? Could we all obey God for decades without visible results? It took him 10 decades to build this boat.
So I'm going to take it to, like, modern day, because people are like, oh, those are stories that didn't happen. Oh, modern. Could you stand up at a place of employment, or at a friend's house, or in a friend group, if something's not, I mean, you're not judging people, but it's not ethical? Correct. I mean, could you stand up on your morals and values and say, no, I'm not going to be part of that, or no, we're not going to do that? I think that's applicable today to a lot of people, that because of our social media world, it's easy to sit at home and scroll and post and like and unlike and dislike and follow and whatever is there. But that's very easy. Leave Karen comments. It's very easy to fall into, just, armchair quarterback mode. Like, oh, that'd be so easy. I would have done it this way. Well, but you weren't in it. And would you be able to stand up if something is being wrong? I think that's where, again, Noah, there's literally no flood. There's no rain. It's dry. And God says, hey, do this. I mean, God asked us to start the podcast. We have no idea where this podcast is going. We're seeing some fruit a little bit from people that get back to us. And thank you to those that do interact and correspond with us.
Yeah.
But I think that, there's pieces of this that you just have to continue to walk in that obedience aspect.
Yeah.
And we've heard from countless people, don't stop the podcast. Don't stop doing, this is a good work. And obviously God has asked us to do it. So we're, be obedient and continue following that.
Yeah. So a big application is faith is building before the storm.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay.
Faith is obedience when culture mocks you.
Yeah.
Which is what you were just
Yeah.
talking about.
Yeah.
I'm
kind of jumping ahead of your notes here a lot. This is.
Yeah, you need to slow down.
I'll just.
Awkward turtle over
I
there.
need to calm down.
Yes.
It's fine.
Okay.
Chris has already used awkward. He can't put the turtle back in this time, so good try. You got turtle last time. Sorry. Mm-hmm.
Abraham, okay? Leaving without a map. Go to the land I will show you.
Mm.
Could you imagine packing up all 5 of our children and just going until God told you to stop?
Well, we didn't go until God told us to stop, but we did pack up our 5 children recently, and
we went.
We figured it out.
Yeah.
It's
And
doable.
we could talk about that. That could be an episode in itself.
Oh my God.
What God brought out of our 3-week road trip.
Could be. Mm-hmm.
So,
that's another episode down the road. But that was being obedient to what was asked to do.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's for another time. But there is obedience in that. But there are others that would say, why are you doing that? Like you were talking about the mockery piece. Like, why would you go do that? Or you don't have a map. You have no clue what you're doing. Why would you leave that job for an unknown? Or why would you move from that city to said city?
Because faith often requires movement before clarity.
Yeah. Why would you?
It, we still are gaining clarity on a lot of what God's asked us to do.
What's my saying? I was saying today that I need to do an episode on. Actually, I was telling Jason about a song idea. Remember my saying that I gave you? We're all one step away
from stupid.
Stupid. I think people will say, that's so ridiculous. Why are you doing that? We don't really know why. But the reality is we still have to step it out and figure it out because we're still figuring this thing out ourselves. We're like, there's not a, oh my gosh, you've arrived. When you think you've arrived, you just get that much further to go. Is that fair?
Right. Because arrogance is...
What?
Status is still too arrogant to understand success.
Yeah. Yeah, that was my notes that she's stealing, but that's fine. That's what we do. Use that a while ago. But yeah. Go ahead. Keep going. Next one.
Okay.
But the mock, you were saying the mockery aspect and how you just literally, we're just roaming without it, there's no map, there's no guide.
And I think for a lot of us who are following God, because this is the difference between being a believer of God and following him, is we expect God to give direction and the details of how to do all the things. He gave Noah the precise measurements that he needed.
Yeah.
Why can't he give me the precise steps that I need? But what that extracts out of what God has given us is our free will. And he wants to bless the path. And he wants us to trust him even when we're undeserving of his mercy.
You were saying, why can't God just give me the numbers that he gave to Noah? I mean, and again, we were not alive during this time. And the Bible doesn't talk about the numbers. Were they given specifically to Noah? Or did his wife have some and his boys? Because they all worked on it together. You know what I mean? So where I'm going with that is in the community aspect. Are there people that you need to be open to having a conversation with, being raw, being transparent with, that they might bring you a word? Or I heard something, I didn't know what it was for, and it's for that situation.
Right.
But they wouldn't know if you hadn't, if there was nothing said on the front end. So when you're saying, gosh, God, just give me the numbers, maybe he's not giving them to you, but maybe it's somebody in your network or your close sphere. And if you're being truly living in community, you're being open with each other. I'm struggling with this. I can't figure this out. I don't know why God is doing, like, I had that conversation with Hunter last week, and it was just like, there was purpose 2 weeks ago having a conversation to then lead into last week's to then, the story's still being written, but again, there was pieces of the puzzle, I feel like.
Right. Well, and some of those pieces of your puzzle regarding your job, that came from Willow years ago. Lady came to us and said, one day God's going to ask you to quit your job. And he immediately stressed out because he thought it was then. And looking back, it was so foolish and unwise for you to think that it was happening then.
Mhm. But that's our earthly brain. That's how we process things is immediate. It is the society we live in is the microwave mentality, a microwave mentality society of I want it now.
Right.
And so when you hear these things, you're like, oh, well, this should happen. Well, we don't know what the timeline is. Time is irrelevant to God.
So I have a question.
Okay.
Okay. I didn't want to be Abraham. No, I could, because I'm all right.
So you live with snakes and spiders, and you put them all on your boat with you and live with them?
I would build a boat if God asked me to build a boat. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't want to be Abraham. And okay?
You can't really choose, but keep going.
Totally. I'm okay being Kersha.
No, okay.
Okay?
All right.
But
God broke the mold on that one, that is for sure. Joshua, okay.
Joshua,
Yeah.
would you... I think any faith follower would be okay to be a Joshua.
Okay.
Circling walls like a fool for 7 days. Could you do it? I think any of us could do it. You circle once a day for 7 days, or for 6 days, and on the 7th day, you circle 7 times.
And then you yell and scream.
No. Sure, it looks foolish. Noah building the ark looks foolish.
So if God said, hey, Brian, go to Quick Trip and walk around Quick Trip 7 days, and on the 7th day, you yell and you get free gasoline for the rest of your life?
You would do it?
I would do it in a heartbeat. That's right. Free gasoline? Come on now.
But Jericho didn't fall from strategy. Okay? It wasn't the strategy of once a day for 6 days and then I'll meet you other day. It fell from obedience.
Yeah.
And imagine explaining this battle to your soldiers.
Yeah.
I mean, imagine if World War II ended in the rest of the world circling Germany, a city in Germany for 6 days, and on the 7th day, and then the war ended. Like, how quickly could that end?
Yeah.
In a week, it could have ended.
Yeah.
Okay, Hebrews 11:30. By faith, the walls of Jericho fell. Faith can look ridiculous before it looks victorious.
Oh, yeah.
And oftentimes, I mean, even in our faith walk, Brian would say that I was being naive in my faith walk.
Yeah, guilty of that. Yep.
And it looked ridiculous what we were doing. It even felt ridiculous, right?
To some degree, yeah.
I mean, in a lot of ways, it felt totally ridiculous. But we knew that God had asked us to do this.
Yeah.
And there was no amount of humanness that even his parents could have brought to us and said, like, people that we love and totally respect and allowed us to speak into our life, that anybody could have brought to us and said, you guys are totally crazy and out of your mind and you should not be doing this. We still would have done it. And we would have been okay to have done it and not lived the results of it.
Yeah, but I think there's also to truly unpack that, think about that whole story, like, we did seek out wisdom and counsel
Oh,
on most pieces, obviously in prayer,
right.
but we also had our close group of our close network, our close community
We
where
were
we
very
could
cautious who we allowed to
correct,
have a seat at
and
your table.
because some people would hear the stories and they'd say, "You guys are just flat out crazy," obviously, leading some of the book title, but and they thought, again, "You guys are naive, are you sure you're hearing the right things? You should probably take that back to prayer." That's okay. It wasn't for them to judge. We didn't feel judged. I mean, sometimes we probably did.
Even in our walk together, we felt judged amongst each other.
Yeah.
Like when he told me to have my God talk to his God because he couldn't see it coming together, right?
Mhm.
But the greatest thing was that God paired the two of us together, and where he knew where God knew Brian would falter, he knew I would stand, and where God knew that I would falter, Brian would stand.
Yeah.
And that's in these biblical stories that we're talking about today. It is it's really easy to look at these stories in the Bible and say, "Oh my gosh, look what these people did. Oh, thank God that wasn't me. Thank God that wasn't me." But yet in our own stories, we feel the same things that these biblical heroes
Mhm.
felt.
Yeah. "Gosh, I got hired for a new job. I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing. Hmm, looks like people roam around in the Bible for 40 years without a map. They figured it out." So I think it's like the answers to all of our problems and questions are found in that book. And I think it's just not written in modern time of, "Gosh, my iPhone broke." Oh, today, as a matter of fact, "Oh, my prescription wasn't there at the," and it's like, I gotta go through all these hoops. First world problems, I understand it, but the reality is we want stuff to just flow. We want the dominoes to fall succinctly. The reality is that they don't. And so being able to, like, navigate through that can be challenging in its own right. But it's again, somebody was getting on to me at work, or I was hired and I didn't know what I was supposed to be doing, or gosh, I don't even know where I'm supposed to go. I mean, all of this, or hey, I'm given this, but I don't have all the details. Okay, so start unpacking it one by one.
Mhm.
I don't know. That's what else did you have in there? Sorry, I got kind of on a squirrel moment there.
No.
Tangent a little bit.
Okay. Let's talk about Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego.
Oof, the fire.
Mm.
Okay.
Okay. Our God can deliver us, but even if he does not, okay? Daniel chapter 3, 17 through verse 18, okay? Real faith is not God will. Real faith is even if he doesn't.
Yeah.
It's it's following God without the expectation of deliverance.
Mm-hmm.
It's following God without the expectation of blessing.
Yeah.
It's
Yep.
following God anyway, through any season, even when it's hard.
Yeah. Oh, there's a ton of people that don't even feel worthy to step foot in a church because of their shame, their guilt,
And
their
those are the people that should probably be in church quicker.
they should, but unfortunately, they allow the judgment of those behind the door as they walk in. I don't wanna be looked at. I don't wanna be viewed that way. And that is something that I think we strive for, especially at our church and anywhere we go, is to just you just wanna be friendly to people. And to others that may be seen as, "Gosh, you guys are just extroverted people. You're just it's just it comes easy to you." Not really. I think we have to
We
you have
work
to
at it.
consciously do those things, but genuinely being complimentary to people and because again, giving them hope and encouragement, that's the premise of our podcast, but that's what people need
Right.
because they feel like they've already been judged. They've already self beat themselves up enough prior to it
So I have a
and that belief.
Yep, I have a personal story that I'm going to share this week. A friend had come to me and they were asking for prayer on how to get out of their current situation. And so I was praying over them and I heard 3-day fast. And so I had shared 3-day fast with them. And their immediate response was fear-based.
Mm.
And I'm not gonna share details, of what was going on, their stuff, because it's their business, but fear-based. And I responded in the conversation with them of, the more you feel resistance to do it, that's the more reason you should do it, because that is Satan in you saying, "Don't do this." Because Satan knows that it's going to break the bonds that you have
Mm.
for God to give you the blessings that you've been asking for.
Yeah.
And in so many ways, I listened to the friend, I received what their fears were, but then I spoke and I rebuked those fears over them as well. And they began a 3-day fast.
Mm.
And I'm super proud of them, but I didn't tell them to do it. I just delivered the message to them. They were having a hard time hearing God. And so that was the message I got. Like, hey, do a 3-day fast. I'll support you in however that looks, but do a 3-day fast and don't let fear come between you and God.
Yeah. There's a lot of times that it's like, oh, I feel disconnected from God. Well, that's because you've allowed distance to get there. It's not God. God's always ready. God is always listening. He's always ready to answer, to give you advice. May not be the advice we want, but we have to go seek that out. And sometimes it is through actions and obedient steps like that. Sometimes it's, hey, I just need to get off of social media. I mean, now we're in the season of Lent and people are giving up and, oh, I'm sacrificing this or that. It's like, what's something you're going to, give up for the season? And it's like, it's not always about giving something up. It's about what are you doing to spend more time with God during that season.
Mhm.
And that's what he wants. It's not about putting this away or stop doing that. Yes, those are good things to free up time because we all have the same 24 hours in the day. So what's the last part here? I don't want to.
Well, that really is wrapping up our episode. I want to point everybody back to Hebrews chapter 11. Okay. And then I want you to think about if there was a verse in there that had your name, what would you want it to say about you?
That's good.
By faith, Brian and Kersha. By faith,
Yeah.
Sean and Becca Phillips.
Yeah.
By faith, Hunter and Kristen Murray. The list could go on of people literally that God has placed in our lap and in our path, of people who have done some crazy, unbelievable faith things in their life. And so what do you want Hebrews chapter 11 verse, I can tell you what the final verse would be. Verse 41. What would you want it to say about you?
Hebrews chapter 11, verse 41 would say, your name.
By faith.
By faith. There you go.
You did what?
Yeah.
For the kingdom of God.
So if something was impactful to you, please share it. If this is an episode, hey, somebody needs to hear this because of this phrase. I mean, even, hey, just listen to this 1-minute section or this 30-second clip. Send it to somebody because that is how that hope and encouragement gets spread. That's the premise behind the crazy, unbelievable faith. I can't even talk today. That is the premise behind the podcast of Crazy Unbelievable Faith. So thank you for tuning in. Until next time, have a great day.